something.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, look at you. You're all pumped up again.
Yes.
All pumped up. I know. It doesn't take much. So, hello, everybody in Central Mafia user group land. In the family, Sean Lardo here, IT Nation, along with my good friend, the other half, Juan Mack.
Hello, everybody. Juan Mack from Central Mafia / Matrix Integration. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. It's
when I was joining, I was like, Central Mafia always changes. Like, oh no, yeah, it is. We're doing Central
Mafia.
Mafia.
Good. You're good. We got it. We're all covered.
Yeah.
Everything's covered. So, for those of you wondering why you're watching us two schmoes talk, it's pretty simple. Central Mafia user group, along with ConnectWise IT Nation. What we've done is we started these things about 2 years ago to share information from partners and vendors from across the community to help you all grow, do some best practices, personal, professional, whatever. So, Juan and I started doing live streams some time ago, which was exciting. We were first doing them as virtual meetups on Teams, and then we put our big boy pants on and started doing this. So, with that being said, what do we got going on here today, Juan?
Well, today is our partner session. So we have, for those of you who are just joining and getting up to date with everything that's happening with the Central Mafia, we have 2 live streams every month. One is vendor focus, and today we're just bringing one of the partners to share experiences and talk to us any specific topics that we have. Also, they will also share on our newsletter. So we have Larry with us today, and we'll be talking to him shortly. But let's learn more about the Central Mafia, because I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Well, can we first acknowledge the fact that Larry's picture looks real professional? I'm very proud of him.
It is.
It is very professional. He looks really good. And he's going to talk about metrics-driven staffing and MDR and cybersecurity. I'm very excited about that. But yes, now let's talk about Central Mafia again. Hosting today, Juan, Mack, and myself.
All right, so this is a partner-led community. So we like to hear from partners, not only for content like we're going to present today. If you have any vendors that you're using that is bringing value to your company, you would like to share that, we just put them in contact with us, and we'll be more than happy to bring them into these sessions. And the purpose of these, and really for these sessions, not only the virtual but our in-person meetups, is to create that engagement and continue that engagement throughout the whole community. So welcome any suggestions, and stay connected with us either through LinkedIn, through our YouTube channel, and also our Slack channel to put any questions in there. And again, just ping us so we can continue to grow. And I think we have those. There you go. We have those links in there. So take your phone out, take a picture of this, scan it, and join our Slack group. Where we Slack group, we not only have the opportunity to ask questions in there, but all of our upcoming sessions and all the news for the Central Mafia are posted in there, and also on the LinkedIn, all the different happenings. And besides these, we have additional recordings that we've created with some of our vendors, and those get Simon, you are on. Is that you, Sean, or those get posted on the YouTube channel as well? So if you would like to review any of our previous sessions or any of our recordings, they're posted in there. I'm not touching anything, so I was like, wow, this is either that or it's like, hurry up, dude, to keep me on task. If you did not receive,
thank you. people backstage making sure we stay on track. So let me reiterate everything that just was said. You can follow along with us on YouTube and LinkedIn. You can be part of the discussion on Slack, where it's, again, this is all partner led. We also have a newsletter that we put out once a month. Actually, today, Larry, that's our guest today. He actually wrote one of the last articles within the newsletter. So we're going to discuss what he put in that newsletter. But you guys can subscribe into the newsletter to receive monthly updates. These are not vendor specific. These are not sponsored. These are literally information that's created for usage for you to improve and advance your guys' businesses. Moving on. So, as Juan was alluding to way too early, again, prematurely, middle name premature, is that we have virtual sessions twice a month. We do this twice a month for live streams. Okay. We also do a third for an open mic, which is a private virtual session itself. So you guys can tune in. The second and third Thursday of every month is a vendor and or partner spotlight / webinar. The open mic is on the fourth Thursday of every month also. So you come in. It's an open session for conversations. We're always looking for feedback from you all. So please join, involve, engage. It's really good. It works out really well for us. It gives us the ability to actually find speakers you want to talk about things you want to talk about, whether it's product or service or whatever. Next. Yep. Next slide. No slides. We done?
I think there was one more in there showing
I guess we're
Larry.
done.
But I think we have some of the stuff going on. Sean, we got IT Nation Europe coming up.
We do. Yes, we do. I'll be heading across the pond for the first time in 20 years. 20, I just turned 21 recently, so I was there at 1, so I can't remember. But going over to IT Nation Europe. For those of you that haven't had a chance to register, you can still register. It is in London, so that's freaking dope. Unfortunately, Juan, I will not be spending my birthday with you this year like we did last year. I will instead be in Scotland with a good friend, Mark Lamb, that lives there. But yes, you're looking right now at the website for IT Nation Connect Europe. We are expecting, we've already surpassed our numbers for registration right now that we had last year or 2 years ago as a whole. So we are looking for a very large crowd. We have great speakers. Our keynote, Daniel Priestley, I had a chance to meet him. He is ridiculously sharp, man. And it's all about one big thing that he talks about is don't chase customers. Identify where your area or target area is, not geography either, based off of whatever it is. Don't worry about that, but don't chase people. No sense in it. That's one of the biggest things he talks to entrepreneurs about. But we have a lot of good tracks. Patrick Beggs, he actually lost weight since then. He needs a new profile picture. But yeah, you can see a whole list of great speakers involved. Dan Scott, he's the man. Looking forward to recently appointed GM, Peter Kajawa. He'll be on stage as well. But yes, don't forget to join, register. I'll see you all there.
Yeah. And for those that we don't go to Europe, we do have Secure coming up in June. So I will be there. I'm looking forward to seeing all the partners on that one. See, I see all those events and I was like, oh man.
Let's just
so one at a time.
Let's just get through it first. Let's just get through this episode.
Yeah.
Let's get through this episode in Europe. Then we'll start talking about Secure. Okay. That's not until June. So with that said, let's bring on our guest. Okay. Why are you mad? Let's bring on Larry Rasmussen. Hi, Larry.
You're going to Scotland? Yeah. Right.
Okay. I am.
Enough said. Yeah. For the scenery.
Can't wait for the stories.
Yeah. I don't even know what to make of that.
20 years, huh? I actually also lost pictures since I
went overseas like that.
Just so you know.
Did you?
Yeah. That was my fat eldest stage.
So Larry's
Larry, thank you for joining us today.
Let's introduce Larry.
Yeah.
If you do that.
We know Larry for quite a while. I mean, Larry, I probably met like 2 years ago at a Connect event.
Yeah.
Breakfast together. I think you probably said something inappropriate. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to be friends.
That's almost exactly how it happened.
And ever since you've been part of the
I feel like it's
Central
all
Mafia,
Larry's stories.
Yeah. It's a niche.
so being a loyal member of the Central Mafia, and you also help us with the all of our different events. As part of the Larry's also part of the advisory council. So this is another example of all the things that we want to do. And you've been with your company for a long time.
Yeah, about eight years now.
Okay.
I started it, actually. It's a division of a bigger company, but yeah, it's about 8 years ago. Somebody actually trusted me to start a company, and somehow I actually shockingly delivered. So I'm still here, and we're still growing, and everything's changing, and you got to keep up with it. And that's why I talked to you guys, and I joined the group.
Awesome. You're like every time I talk to you, you're like jack of all trades. You're on the field. You're managing your team, working with clients, selling. So I think this was going to be a great conversation, and we're going to be talking a little bit about managing your team. And you actually wrote the article about metrics-driven staffing when it comes to your team.
So can we back it up? What is your primary responsibility, Larry, today?
I'm the director of the division, but my responsibility is the entire division because of that. So, I mean, everything top to bottom, management of people, and we're small. So, I like Juan says, I do everything. I'm still a jack of all trades, although we've migrated away from that as I put some of the stuff I wrote about in place. It's helped me free up myself to do my stuff. So I thought it was probably worth sharing because I was in a panic attack for about 4 years straight. And when you get out, it feels good. I don't get out much, Sean.
That's all. You know what? It's interesting because us as MSPs, that's what we sell to our clients, right? We're trying to sell that peace of mind. Yeah. And for those companies that have an IT department or an IT head, that is the value, right? It's like how you can actually provide IT value to your organization while not doing all the other things that are IT related. And that's kind of like the value that we bring into what you're doing. It's you just empowering your team to provide that delivery to your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
So eating your own dog food.
Yeah.
Or drinking your own bourbon.
We have a saying with vendor support that if I have a beer full of fridge and they have a beer, call them and drink their beer first. Don't waste our time. It's probably shocking that I came up with that, but
I'm shocked.
I was waiting for you to talk. It's like, is Sean still delayed there?
Yeah. That was fun though.
I am slightly delayed. So I'm waiting to make sure because it's like watching Kung Fu theater in the 90s.
Well, you look good from here. You're well, no, I messed up again.
Doing good.
I'll be back, gentlemen. I'm gonna refresh.
All right. Sweet. So when I was reading your article about KPIs and doing all that, I really get excited because when it comes to like reporting and getting into all that analytics, I really enjoy all that.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, right? There's a saying like you cannot you need to measure in order to get success, right? And in order to manage it. And I think that's probably where you were heading with this, sort of like creating all those. So,
yeah, well, I mean, how are we doing? Right. That's the question. And how do you answer that? You can talk to clients and you can say, hey, how are we doing? They go, good. But, one of the guys isn't pulling his own weight. The other one's working too much, or, you got a girl, she's doing overtime. She doesn't need to. So how do you measure that? How do you know how you're doing internally? Obviously, you need client feedback. That's number one, because if they're happy, you're in pretty good shape. But how is everybody doing is kind of the question I came to when I was trying to do everything. So I'm like, how do I get out of this? How do I just know? And to me, it just came down to metrics. And you made a good point earlier about empowering them. So I basically used metrics to shift management to them. You're in charge of your numbers. If you're producing, your numbers are going to be there. There's no reason to be, everybody's seeing all the numbers. So Once you own that, you have the ability and the accountability as an employee to be as great as you want. And if you're not, there's not a lot of places to hide. But it's not, when you do this, it's important to me, at least, that we're not trying to catch the bad ones, right? There's too many times people think of it in the negative light, as opposed to showing how somebody is shining in their role, right? Like, look at how great this person is doing. That's just as important to me.
Correct. So you should try to see where they're good at, and then leverage that in order for them to grow.
But how do you even get to that point? One thing I've noticed with businesses, especially small businesses, everybody's wearing so many hats and doing so many things. How do they ever come back to even, I call it putting aces in their places, right? And you can put them in their places if but how do you even get to that? How do you assess that? What's an easy way? What's a 1 or 2 step trick that makes sense?
I mean, the biggest thing for us was like things like Bright Gauge that can dive into your metrics much quicker, or something that can tie right into your help desk, pull those out, and we just made dashboards. And it's like, this is who's responding the fastest. This is who's closing tickets the fastest. This is closing the most tickets. If you're last in everything, then we talk to you and we say, hey, how do we get you, up towards that person? How do you think we can raise your numbers? It's not, again, we're not trying to catch the bad one. We want everybody to come up. So once you're providing, and we have a dashboard, anybody can see at any time, it's just a live look into what's going on. So yeah, I'll be honest, it takes time to set those up, right? So you spend the time on the front end to kind of coast on the back end, and it's not usually extremely quick. You got to put some sweat into it. But once you get it going, I mean, now everybody has a central place to look. Everybody knows where everybody else is looking, and everybody gets kind of on the same page, to where then you just talk about it. To your point, that's how you get there. Now we're just talking about it. Everybody knows what we're talking about. So you identify the stuff you want to track, you start tracking it, you make it centrally located, and then you review it. So reviewing it's a big thing too, right? Like, having it is fine, but if you're not doing one-on-ones at some consistency, if you're not doing team meetings at some consistency, they're just, you can have bad numbers in crews, or you can have great numbers, there's no credit. You still have to be accountable to the employees. You can't just tell them, go get those numbers and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, I think a big part of that, Larry, it's also you create a great culture, within and even within your team, where you have that in there, and somebody's going to be at the bottom, and it's not shameful. It's almost like gamification to some, but it's like, I think if you create a culture, it's like, hey, we want to help you move to the top.
Yeah, well, and it creates like friendly rivalries, right?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things you can do that really helps, that we've seen a lot of progress with, is there's awards at the end of every month for the metrics we're tracking. Most tickets closed, most site visits taken. Lord knows I'm not trying to go. So if they're going, so we're giving out gift cards, just stuff like that. We announce the winners at the end of the month. And then I always tell them to make a speech, and they don't know what the hell to talk about, but that's fine. It's very awkward, and I enjoy that. So, yeah. I mean, but, you can't just hold them accountable in the negative way. You also want to reward them for positive work.
Exactly. I remember.
So it's, you gamify it.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
You're gamifying it. Yeah. Which I
love. And then you see also, in the chat.
The funny thing about what you just said, though? I was just saying, the funny thing you just said, though, is what you're doing is what sales teams have been doing forever, because sales has KPIs already, because it's called a quota, right?
Right.
And you do a pipeline review every week, or based off whatever the sales cycle looks like, right? And so it's very transparent, and everybody knows who's on the leaderboard, and you want to be, and it gives the chance for you to want to step up to the leaderboard, and then you start working on the skill set after that.
And to your point, like when you do those end of month and you award people for, hey, you were number one, they're like, hell yeah, I am. I was last place, but I got here. And then they feel good about doing their job well, which is what you want people to get satisfaction out of their job. Otherwise, they're just punching a clock. So we want to build a good environment where, and the chat now is just people fighting for tickets. It's like, it's exciting. Like, people want to go grab that ticket because they're trying to get that gift card. It's a fun environment. It's totally changed probably in, I'd say, 3 months it took And then
Yeah.
we got buy-in, and you just see it take off, and, you know, talking a little trash back and forth in a friendly manner, which I would never do, obviously. But, you know, I let the employees have some fun with it. I talk the most trash. Yeah.
And I bet it not only helps you like improve your efficiencies with your team, but also how they elevate themselves to be better, to learn new skills.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Because, you know, we had a level 1 technician that said, you know, sometimes I don't know what to do next. And I said, this is what we're talking about. Thank you for coming to me. And I said, well, how about we teach you how to do these security checks? And he's like, yeah, all right. So now he's doing all that. His billable time soaring, his tickets closed. You know what I mean? And so what we saw is everybody's numbers went up. Like the entire team went up. It wasn't just one person that was scared of getting caught. It was everybody's trying to get to the top. And it just brings everything to the forefront. Like everybody's focused on the same goals. And it makes it a lot easier from a management standpoint. Because if you've ever managed a bad employee and you're just going off of like gut, or you're like, hey man, you kind of suck. It's like, that's not enough. You gotta be able to make them better, or at least try. So until you have something, like, come on. You can imagine how well I would react to that conversation. I'm like, prove it, dude. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, you'd be like, right, I do suck.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home now and order cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm going to the bar. Right. Just leave. No. But you want to have something, right? And you want to have something on both sides too. That's the other thing. Like there does need to be consequences, which is just the yin and the yang, right? Like you want to reward people at the top, and you have to, you know, have those meetings and those tough conversations. Like, hey, this is the 3rd week in a row that you're sitting around based on the numbers. And we had, if you remember the old football coach, Bill Parcells, remember him? And he had that line where he said, you are what your record is. And that I use that line now. It's number. I say your numbers are what, if you forgot to close a ticket, that's your resolution time. I don't care. There's no excuses. We're all going to do it. Over the course of a year, your numbers are going to even out. You're going to, you know what I mean? You might have a bad week because you screwed up, but that's on you, not me. You own your numbers. And that's been our big motto kind of moving forward now.
That's a great point there. Especially, you know, when you're creating that accountability and creating almost like teaching them that discipline, right? Like the things that you do are the things that are going to drive those numbers.
And think of yourself as your own manager, right? I mean, because that's what you do when you start looking at your own numbers, right? How do I get better, as opposed to just sitting there waiting for something to come in, or you know what I mean? Like it kind of gives them a look at, you know, management and build some skills like you're talking about. Maybe they progress, which is always good. I mean, you always want people to move up.
So let's dig into that for a quick second. You're using the metrics. Am I lagging?
No, I think you're all right.
You're good.
I'm lagging now.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Well, the lagging took so long for you to respond. I figure
technology.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It's not for me.
It's going great. Well, you know, the green room says I'm lagging. I'm coming back. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back.
All right. Juan, just real quick, I'd be interested. Do you dive into your metrics regularly also?
Yeah, so we have our weeklies. So we follow EOS. So we have what we call our L10 meetings, and every single week they go through all their different metrics. So all the different departments, they have their own scorecard. And when it comes to our engineering team, right, for the ones who are responsible for that client delivery, it's the same thing every single week. We're looking at all those different numbers, and everybody, like you said, everybody is accountable for their numbers. And they're really quick. I mean, everybody have to say, I am on track or I'm off track on my numbers, and I'm reaching my goals and I'm not reaching my goals. And, you know, and if they're not, it's like, okay, let's have a conversation about it and how we can help you achieve that.
Well, but again, it all comes back to accountability. And I think that was the one thing. I was so busy trying to get things running and, you know, find clients and stuff like that. When you really focus on that, it really makes a difference, because when people know they're accountable and when you're accountable to them, everybody grows.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And going both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And that fund
The only thing
celebration.
I think is how do you keep talking about the existing of the goals, but the biggest problem that we've seen is staffing as well.
Yeah. So
right, the last few years since COVID. So from what I'm hearing you say so far, the best ideal thing is to first identify everybody's skill set, put them in the right position, make sure that you're empowering them to do their jobs, gamified so they get excited and they go after, and they have self accountability. That's extreme ownership, and then start to hire.
Yep.
So
right.
how does that
hire
attribute to
within
your?
Well, a lot of times, especially if you're hiring from a similar company or a similar type of industry, you can ask them for KPIs on the way in. A lot of people don't do that at interviews or anything. But if they have KPIs they're willing to share, yeah, okay, cool. So you've done all this. Now, businesses are much different the way they track things and stuff like that. But they produce them, they have them. But also you ask them about it. Like, hey, are you comfortable making 45 phone calls a week? And they say, well, why? Because that's the number, it's like, that's when I'm making that up, but something like that. And you say, hey, yeah, we have expectations of closing this many tickets every week for your position. Is that something you think you can do? So you don't want to shock and awe them like, hey, welcome to our company. And then now you have to do all these things or else. You don't want that. So you do want to kind of vet them on the way in and just say, hey, so is this a workload you think you can handle? We move fast, or maybe some companies don't, I don't know. But you want to good expectations that both sides know about before you bring them in, and then they just fit right into the fold. And you go, okay, well, here we go. And we do have a ramp up period. Like, you don't just get hired and you have to meet all these metrics, because that would be such a failure. So basically for their first 4 weeks, they have to beat me, which is like pretty easy. So I just go, just beat me, and then we'll worry about the other technicians later. And then they crush me and they feel good about it.
So,
but yeah, you want to hire them and ramp it up.
Yeah. So with that, like, is that something that you then have now built into your hiring process?
Yep. It's I think there's 3 or 4 questions specifically about that on our form, where it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do.
On the form.
Yeah. I hold it up and I read it. It's very impersonal. No, I'm just kidding. I just give it to him. I'm like, just write some answers and you can get out of here quick.
I'm just looking pretty. Just keep going with your conversation, because my lag is real.
I don't think you're lagging too bad right now, at least on the screen. I don't know what's going on inside.
Right. Well, I'm not doing much. That's why it's noticeable.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
Now we can see it.
Yeah. It's like a strobe. Not bad.
So but let me lag with you and say this. It'll be nice and slow. So what you're saying is set proper expectations for what their responsibility will be, and then give them the ability to beat Larry.
Yep.
Which is an obtainable goal, to just beat Larry daily.
Very important. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of our onboarding.
Okay.
Cool. So you're setting your expectations at the beginning.
Okay.
They beat you.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, and also then you never have to change anything, right? Because nobody likes a changing workplace. It's like, this is what we do and this is how we're going to do it. So now you're in. Now you know what to do.
Yeah. And it also doesn't only become your hiring, promoting, but it's also become your firing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the downside of it is the downside of it, right? It's like, look, 6 weeks in a row, you've got, and I don't know how every company categorizes their unutilized time or whatever you want to call it, non-billable, whatever. But if somebody is just not producing, there's nothing you can do. So, I mean, but you do find out, because that's the downside is, again, there are consequences, but we've found that ever since we've done it, we haven't had to worry about those.
Is everybody?
It sounds like you're able to build a blueprint for success.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of them want that structure too, of like, this is what I'm trying to do. When it comes in, this is how we handle it. So, I think even at a higher level, you're talking about procedure and process type stuff, right? So if you have all of that stuff laid out pretty simple and they just have to repeat the tasks, and obviously have the skill set to do whatever the job requires. But, they're not having to think on their feet. They're just doing their job. And that's one of the things we really tried to focus on is you're here to work, not to figure out how to do this better. That's my job, which is, I knew you're going to smile at that, Sean. But yeah, I mean, it's like, just you're here to do the work. We'll set it up. All you have to do is these things and go.
I want to go back when you were talking about building these dashboards and having those available for your team, because you did mention Bright Gauge.
Yeah.
Is all your team located in one place, or you have remote people that can also access this type of information?
We're all in one place. We actually have a TV I put up. I told them that we wanted a metrics TV. Basically, I watch football on the weekends during football season, but they don't know that. So I got it approved. And so, yeah, we have the metrics up and they're running every day. They cycle through each one. So everybody knows where they are in the month, on the week. And that's where it gets, the gamification comes in, because they'll see it and they'll be like, oh man, I'm taking that next one. I'm only 2 behind. You know what I mean? So having it visible is a big thing, I think, because, everybody can get into it. But, when you're working, you're not going to open up another web page and probably, they're busy. So we just figured, let's put up we did 2 TVs actually. But yeah, let's put them up there, get it on there, have it rotate. And that way they can glance up quick, know what's going on. It's been really helpful.
Do you also share like customer feedback? Is that something that's
yes? So we do that at the monthly meeting right before we do the awards, because if it's bad, then I like to give them an award afterwards, so that they're not real upset after the meeting. We don't get a lot of bad feedback at all, but most of the bad feedback is like, Larry kept me out too late. But yeah, it's something we do, definitely. How that goes, Sean.
And out of curiosity, what do you guys use for your feedback? You mentioned Bright Gauge, so I'll just
we don't have a tool we're using for it yet. We're actually vetting a couple right now. It is just meetings I have. So I'm doing monthly meetings with clients, stuff like that. And you don't, everything isn't probably worthy of writing down, but when you hear a trend, or when you hear, a couple of things that are pretty, that stand out, I bring those up to them. Yeah. And it's good feedback a lot. I mean, that's a good thing too, right?
Yeah. And I feel like that also it helps you keep that line of communication open with your clients. If you actually, reaching out to them to make sure that they're taken care of and getting, trying to get that from them. Because I mean, I don't know how times they will like reserve themselves from maybe putting a comment or saying something, feeling that, right, okay, I'm now the engineer, and all the tech's going to see it. But that's how you keep, you build those strong relationships.
Well, yeah. The other side of that is I share all of our metrics with our clients. I mean, if the metrics are good, you got nothing to worry about, right? So we're doing very well. I share them. I mean, I break it down individual to them. I'm not sharing everybody, but yeah. So I'm like, this is how we did this quarter, this month, this year. So we do quarter, month, and year. And they look at it and they go, yeah, it does seem like you respond right away. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so-and-so is always answering the phone. And you're like, all right, cool. And then a lot of times, hey, that ticket wasn't solved forever. Look at that. And it's like, yeah, let's talk about that. That's a good way to get some feedback out of them. Like you said, sometimes they're a little tentative to just give up feedback, especially if it's negative, which is very sweet, but not helpful. So yeah, I mean, when you have stuff you're looking at that can dictate that conversation a little bit and kind of help push them in so what did you think happened? And then maybe there's an explanation, maybe there's not. Maybe you got to crack skulls. I don't know, but at least you're talking about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Cracking skulls.
That's actually, I found out recently from HR, that's illegal. I'm not allowed to do that, it turns out. Who knew?
Well, Breakfast Club. I mean, he did a Breakfast Club, so I don't know. I feel like it's. And he was a principal.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
Sorry, bud.
So let's back this up a second while I'm not lagging too bad at this moment. So as you're doing this, you're quantifying all the results from ticket response time, tickets responded to feedback, which, ConnectWise is a product called Smilback, in case you're looking. But anyway, not here to push a product. However, you're looking at, testimonials, basically, or customer reviews, but you're aggregating all that into a dashboard ultimately. So are you scoring them?
We're not scoring them at this point. We're just kind of coming out with leaderboards for the most part. I would love to get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually one thing I've thought of that I haven't been able to do yet, is like kind of assign a number to it, or, something where you've just got a score that you can be like, I won across the board, not just this one thing, what I mean?
That's like I'm the all-purpose reigning champion of the month.
Yeah. Right. Give me the belt. Yeah. So, I mean, that would be an awesome thing. And I mean, maybe some of the partners out there know of something like that. That'd be cool to hear about. If we're getting any feedback on that, that'd be cool. Yeah, right. He's got the strap. Yeah. All right. Very
I
nice.
am the champion of everything.
There's no disputing that.
I'll tell you what I do over here.
It's obvious.
When I from the events, I bring all these help desk hero pins.
Oh, okay.
IT Nation. And I bring those back and over the course, I mean, several months, I actually go down, to the team and say, and you can just see those all because they're not always the same. And I just provide those to the team. That's my way of just showing appreciation, because obviously, the team, we are our own client. They take care of our things. So that's our trophies. It's not a belt like Sean. So I just give them, those IT Nation pins to help their zeros.
Yeah, just little stuff, but like they know you care, and they know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I give hugs too,
Right. Again, I got to talk to you about HR, but anyway.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. Yeah. Can't
I
be
don't
too
make it
awkward.
I let go soon enough.
Yeah. It's a friendly workplace hug.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Some of my raving fans just asked about Stone Cold Steve Austin because I look so good with the belt like Stone Cold did.
Grab a couple beers. Let's find out. Yeah, we've derailed.
I have a refrigerator next to me, but
Yeah.
Anyway, so back on track. So ultimately, you're really quantifying results to keep the whole. It's actually more business continuity than anything else we're talking about here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And again, like the accountability is, I would say, like it's like a triangle, right? It's the clients, it's the business, it's the employees. You got to have it all three ways. There's accountability, and when you know that, everybody performs better, I think, or at least they're motivated more to.
Perfect.
And so that ultimately then that help you as their manager, because like
tremendously.
We're always talking we're always, like you said, you're a jack of all trades. You're always running around and doing all these things, and you want to actually be able to focus on your team and empower your team. So over time, you've actually received that or seen that benefit.
Yeah, because now it's just we're doing the one-on-one, and we call it like an accountability review, which is really just we're looking at numbers, but it sounds better. So yeah, I mean, now it's just you're doing those meetings. You do the team meeting every month, and everybody's on the same page. It would have been when I was flying around, crazy, like trying to figure out how to do stuff. So it's been extremely beneficial to me because it's way less time spent in management and way more time spent doing my job, but getting the same results that you want.
Correct.
Which is important. Yeah.
How have you quantified the amount of time you save as a manager as a result of doing this way?
So I estimated about 5 hours a week.
No, I want that in percentage, please, Larry.
Great response.
But that's okay. That's actually very crucial. That's good though. Thank you for giving hours, because Juan would give me some sort of random percentage of nothingness. So
38.2. No, Yeah, it's significant. I mean, it's enough time to do an entire, almost a full day, right? Because you're not asking people, hey, can you come here? I need you to go do. They're ready to do it. They want to do it. They're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the leaderboard. Like, they are taking care of themselves on a management level almost, and I'm checking in with them. So basically, they're all managing themselves, and then I have a check-in with their manager, which is themselves. And, how's it going? And they're like, good. I'm like, yes, it does look like it's going good. Your numbers are phenomenal. Cool. See you later. I mean, it's just, it's the amount of time that saves us. And not only that, but every meeting is good now. Think about that, right? Like, every meeting has been positive since we did this because everybody's chasing it. So we always say, hunt tickets, right? Go hunt the ticket. Go get it. Get it off the board. Get it off our plate as soon as you can. Dominate. And I always tell them, I'm like, you got to beat the hell out of that. You can take them. You can take them, right?
So
and then like a week later, I'm like, they got you pretty good. You didn't take them at all. And they're like, right. They're like, yeah. And they double down and they get back and they're on top. And so it is a fun, it's a little bit more fun. It's a lot of things. Like, it's a better atmosphere. It's better everything. But most importantly, like, we're more productive as a team entirely, including my position.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, like I said earlier, it goes back to that culture. Because I mean, if you think about it, there are trouble tickets.
Yeah.
Nobody opens a fun ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Hey, can you come over to our office and party? It's like, let me get that ticket.
Yeah. So your team is dealing with problem on a constant basis. So it's just keep that competitive environment, and it's just to keep everybody happy and and you're rewarding for that.
Rewarding, you've got to reward, because there's going to be consequence. There has to be the opposite. Otherwise, I don't find it fair. But that's just the way I do it. I mean, some people just say that's your job, but that's not the way I run it. So I mean, I want to reward them, but also, if I do a round of meetings and clients are all mad about something, there's no rewards that month. There's ways to lose it for the whole team too. We set those up. So there's a couple of things. I mean, if you miss an on-call, if you miss something like that, no incentives for the entire team that month. So now there's accountability between the employees as well, which is just another layer of, right? So it's, once you get that level of accountability, which obviously you're doing the EOS thing, so you've got it built in. But yeah, that's kind of what we had to do. And now, people will be like, hey man, go get that. I'm not losing my gift card because of you. So I think that helped a lot too, is just kind of driving them to work together, and also, like, in a friendly way, get on each other, like, hey, go take care of that. And then it just gets done faster. The client's happy, good feedback, gift cards. Basically, I'm just spending all my money on gift cards, which is good, but it's starting to add up.
Have you done anything besides gift cards? Like, what's the most crazy random thing you've done for you?
I took the whole team out for pizza and beer, and man, that was a lot more expensive than the gift cards. This team can run up a tab, I'll tell you that.
I think people can do that.
Well, most of it was me, but no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was a healthy, but they loved it, right? And also, we were spending time together outside of work, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it was Saturday wasn't awesome for me, I'll tell you that.
We would place wagers on that. See, we would place wagers.
Oh,
like whoever had the better numbers. Like at one point, I had a guy that, actually the owner of the company, he had to serve us coffee wearing an apron every day. He had to wear his apron and come around with the coffee cart and pour us coffee. Like, he lost. That was the bet. Like, one time I had to shave my beard and have only a mustache. That was a very weird time.
Yeah.
This is almost like those NFL draft challenges.
Yeah. It's just humiliation, but it brings the team together. I mean, that's actually a really good way to look at it. When you talk about building culture and togetherness and stuff, except for it's mostly going to be targeted at me, so we're going to hope nobody's watching this back at the office right now. But
that's great. It is the leaders. It's the leaders that have to do it first.
Yeah, don't tell Josh.
Get your suit on.
Yeah, right.
Get your suit.
Right. Yeah, Josh will be waiting.
And get to work. Right?
Yeah, pour me coffee.
No, I remember back in the day when I remember we implemented automate. Out of the box, it just like generated tons of tickets.
Yeah.
Our board was huge. What we did is we had balloons with prices inside of them, and we had like confetti, and each balloon had a number, a lower number, and the goal is like when we reach a number, whoever reached that number had to pop the balloon. The cleaning people hated us.
Yeah.
Because come the weekend, it's like confetti all over the place. But just it made it fun, right? Because it was a stressful. We're trying to get the job done. Closing tickets, getting anything under control, and then just no matter like I can go over there, make a mess, get a price.
Right. A little bit of fun though, a little bit of excitement
during
the work day.
They started bringing like Nerf guns.
Oh
so
yeah, we used to have those. That got rough, man.
So again, that culture of of accountability, and then building that leadership. That's one of the things that our president, he always says, like you always have the opportunity to be a leader.
Yeah.
Right. So and I think that's one of the things you're doing with
and bringing them all together and kind of getting everybody on the same page, and let's go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we've beat this horse to death, essentially. So we've all kind of good ideas of this. So we're at the top of our time anyway. So it's perfect timing. We never got to your other article. One day we will.
Yeah. It was average.
No, it was interesting. Yeah, because
the humility.
You were talking about like MDR and security. Yeah, we didn't get to.
We'll get to it another time. If you'll have me back.
I was when I was reading about it, I looked at when you're talking about AI, I was like, we need to bring Trevor into this conversation.
Yeah, man, I miss him when he's not around. I'll tell you.
On the important, and I think on that is just the importance to leverage like all the automation and.
Well, and the big thing with MDR also is like what I was talking about with employees. Like you don't have enough time to do that yourself most times, so that's kind of where we leveraged it.
And what do you guys use?
I'm saying with MDR, we don't have a ton of time available on our hands to be doing a 24/7 SOC. We don't have the staffing for that. So you bring in an MDR, and then we just keep focusing on our metrics, and they'll hit theirs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same here, because you don't, like you said, you don't have the time to dedicate to that or to bring somebody up to speed to be able to deliver that to the.
Yeah. I'm not even interested in doing it if I'm being honest, even if I could.
Yeah.
Right. Let them do it. Drink their beer.
And that's fair, and that's when it comes about. You see the value of creating those partnerships with your vendors. That's when you find the right partner that's still going to provide you the solution that you want to then replicate and provide to your clients, and you still measure on that.
Yeah, you still get your numbers back. Right? Yeah,
to replicate that accountability, and then to them to keep them accountable, and then to your clients.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're good then, right?
We run out of time, I think, probably. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm not lagging as much anymore either. Go figure.
Yeah, you're perfect now. Yeah. You're sandbagging us the whole time.
All that.
You were fine. You just didn't want to talk.
Yeah. Frozen lines. That's frozen in our lines with this crazy
I was watching how Juan Mack did all by himself, and he was just great.
Oh, he's the best. There's only one Juan Mack. I can tell you that.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Working on it.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Truer words have never been spoken. Work in progress. Yeah. So with that, we should definitely bring back Trevor and Larry, and we can talk about the whole AI piece, because I still think the AI piece is kind of a vague, ambiguous, blah mess.
Yeah.
Because I would still argue that it's just aggregated Google
Well, Trevor
in
is
some
the expert.
cases, and or it's automation, just a little bit faster. I mean, really, it's kind of why we switched over the term to hyper automation as opposed to
Right.
saying AI exactly, because you're looking at and I think also I think our age group, I think we're kind of messed up though with the whole AI because we think of the Terminator, and this is nowhere near there. Which Terminator is
Yes.
way dope, right? But he kills everybody.
Yeah.
But it's really advanced.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
So thank God we're still alive.
Yeah, it's good for us.
For now.
So with that said, since we're all still alive, let's start wrapping this up now. For those of you who watched, I apologize for my colleagues. And thank you for being part of the Central Mafia family. Be sure.
Thank you, Larry.
We talked before about register for Nation Europe. Thank you, Larry, for being part of this.
Of course.
Juan, I always, you complete me. And yeah, the link across the bottom of the page is the Slack and all that good stuff. If you guys want to join the discussion for partners, you can go right into that link and go to our Slack group. I highly suggest you do so. We will have some announcements coming up on physical in-person meetup events taking place this year. So stay tuned for that and subscribe to the newsletter. Otherwise, until then, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Next week we have open mic.
Anyway,
Yep. So join us.
I'll be there.
thanks for helping out, Juan. Appreciate that.
All right. Thanks, Larry.
All right.
Oh, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. I'm signing this shit. I'm signing off what we can.
Yeah.
Toodles.
Signing out.
See you guys.
Fucking train.